Welcome to Title Talk with your host, Drew Wishover, entrepreneur, a published author, and owner of Inspired Title Group, along with his co-host and CEO, Amy Maley. Each week, they offer you some laughs, industry terminology, tips and strategies, along with the occasional real estate professional to help educate you as it pertains to buying, selling, or just plain old homeownership. Thanks for spending time with them. Now, let's jump into today's episode of Title Talk.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Now there's 3. Look at that. Last week there was 2, now there's 3. We just keep multiplying and growing. We're like rabbits. This is crazy. Welcome to Title Talk. My name is Drew.
And my name is Amy.
We are sitting here with our special guest. We are so thankful and excited to have him here today. Colin Egglesfield. Colin, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So great. This is so wonderful.
Welcome.
It's so nice to be a special guest.
And
Very special.
You are the most special guest that we've ever had
I'm sure
on
you
the
tell
history
that
of the
to
show.
all of your guests, but
No, I've never said it one time, except for now, that you are the most special guest we've had. Not to offend those other guests that we've had.
I was going to say, no, good luck ever getting a guest again.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, then, you know what? But I went out on a high note.
You did.
I went out with the big guy. So, if you guys don't know Colin, I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about him. We're going to talk a lot about Colin and what he does and how it kind of relates to some things that we're doing together and some opportunities that we've kind of worked together on. But we wanted to let him do this and be here with us. We've been asking for this for a lot of time, and he's
Have
a busy
you?
guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
You're
asked me
kind
like
of
100
annoying.
times.
He's
I'm like,
kind of like-
fine, Drew.
Yeah.
I will.
I'll
do
be here
the
for-
show.
I've got nothing else to do
He's
today.
like that thing on your shoulder.
Right.
He's like,
That's who I am. I figure if I nag enough, I'm gonna get him.
So don't say shut
Guess
the
who got him?
up.
I think it's the other way around. I've been like, Drew, can I please be on your podcast?
It's
Like,
like-
please. And you're like, Colin, I will try to fit you in. And finally, it's been about a year, and here I am. So thank you so much, guys.
Oh.
It's so great
This
to
is
be
great.
here.
And I want to, have you definitely talk about your book because I think that's something to really make note of here. And what inspired you to write your book? Because you inspired me to write mine. So, reading yours.
Wait, you're giving him all the credit for the inspiration to write your book?
I mean, it was COVID. There's nothing really to
I
do.
paid him to say that.
And,
Well, I told him one day, I was like, with all this wisdom, you should just write a book.
Well, so is the both of us.
yeah, there was.
I'll take like 5% credit
Well,
and I'll let
I
you
think
have the 95%.
if we tell the truth and go really back, we had talked about, because we've been kind of butting our head against the wall in the world of the title business, going, there's really nothing out there like Title for Dummies type thing. So we started to kind of just spitball back and forth.
We were
some
driving
ideas.
to the city. I remember that.
Yeah, to just throw around ideas, going, that might actually be something that would be helpful. But I went, there's so few people in that business. There's so few people that this.
There's a lot of
pertains
people
to.
who like title.
You maybe.
I like what I do. I like what I do.
You do. But really, sitting around through this pandemic and going, I need to be challenged. I had just run the marathon the year before, going, okay, I need something else. I need something else to energize me and put this in.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just write a book. Colin did it. I'm like, this sounds like a lot of fun. I went, oh yeah, that does suck too.
Yeah.
It's like the marathon. It sucked as well.
You were so grumpy.
You're training for the
Oh.
marathon again, and this
Yeah.
is what number are you on now?
Writing a book is a marathon.
It is.
Yeah.
He did the marathon in what, 3 months?
Yes,
You,
I
like,
made,
from the day
I
you
made the decision and I went into it like, yeah. But that's who I
You
am.
were awful
Yeah.
for 3 months. You were so crappy because all you wanted to do was write that book.
'Cause I'm actually training for the Chicago Marathon.
I know.
So,
What number is this?
This will be number 6.
Yeah, see, I was
So
Was
crazy
your
once.
body,
How was your experience?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amazing.
like
his
you wanna
body
talk
didn't,
about-
his brain did.
My body didn't love it
Yeah.
as much, but
Yeah.
I want to talk about a rush.
Yeah.
And I asked this after the marathon to my peer group and even a little bit beyond that, where are all those people? Because they're not in the world we live in. Because they're supportive, they're
Yes.
right behind you, they're
Yeah.
trusting, they're
Show up on marathon.
oh my god.
The amount of people, it doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right of the aisle or what color you are,
No.
how old you are. That day is such an amazing coming together of people for the common purpose of just supporting each other in running this race.
For
It is
26.2
amazing.
miles.
It is
That is
amazing.
so many
You've got your
That is
best
so
friends there.
many
Yeah.
10,000, 20,000 of your best friends there. I'll tell you, you trip up and skin your knee, that person who's right behind you is
They
going, I
lift
got
you
you,
up,
I got you.
yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Run with me
You
for a while.
got this. You
Yeah.
got this.
It's
I'm struggling with the
amazing.
5K first.
Yeah.
But then that same person driving home is a person cutting you off, flipping you off, and I'll go, where are those people at?
Where's my friend?
It's an amazing concept, but
Yeah.
I so much so loved it that I want to do it again, and it's one of those mental things now because I endured some hip injury from it and went through a surgery afterwards, but I'm better now, but I tore my labrum and I ran the marathon with a torn labrum, and they're like, that's not smart.
Oh, wow.
Nobody ever accused me of being smart. I need to do this. I didn't train 8 months to
Yeah.
not do it, right?
Yeah.
And you can appreciate that. And I said, this is one of those things that, why don't we just wake up in the morning and go run the marathon instead of training? Because all those miles training, that's the brutal part. The 26.2 that you run, you run 2,000 to run 26.2.
Well, you have to go
Yeah.
numb at some point, right? Like
Pardon
your
me?
legs have to stop. You have to stop.
Not
feeling.
if you're an athlete like we
Not numb. It just hurt.
They
It, it doesn't matter if it's like mile 13 or mile 18. They just hurt a lot.
They
Yeah.
get heavy.
Like I
they
said,
shut down.
Yeah.
I can't. My brain cannot even fathom running that many miles. I don't even like driving that many miles, let alone.
It's
running
one of the
that.
greatest experiences that I can say that I've accomplished because you want to talk about the biggest mind over matter?
Yes.
There is no.
That's
Because you get to mile 18, you're like, your body's like, stop,
Yeah.
stop, and you're like, wait, I still have 8 more miles, and you're like, how am I gonna do this?
Right.
I can't even put 2 feet in front of the other. But
Right.
what you do is you pick, okay, there's a light post. Let me just make it to the light post. Okay, there's a fire hydrant. Let me just make it to the fire
Yes.
hydrant. And before you know it,
You're just
you're
going.
just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and it's such an amazing lesson.
It's funny.
And just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up.
Every
Don't
step.
give up.
It's
That's
amazing
incredible.
that he says that because everybody utilizes the number 18 as the magical breakdown.
I feel
point.
like it had
that was
people had-
at 18.
Yeah.
The hip was screaming.
Yeah.
And your body and your mind are going, you've done well. Stop.
Yeah.
I think I was
No.
tracking you because I thought you were gonna like your hip was gonna like blow as you were running, and I think it was around there. You're like, I slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm still moving forward, but I'm going slow right now.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
I texted Carol and I'm going, oh my God, this pain is incredible, but I had to keep doing it. And
Oh,
like
you
you said,
couldn't stay-
the
you
people
couldn't
that are following are going, yeah, his pace is really
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's still moving, okay?
Yeah.
He's
It's
got
not like
7
he's
hour
staying
miles
still,
now.
right?
Yeah.
But you're right, it's that endurance thing. So after that, I said, okay, I want to endure that pain again, but not in that level. So I wrote a book.
There you
So,
go.
I mean, it's similar
There you
thing.
go.
So did you. But your book really inspired me, and the story about 9/11 and all of that. Again, having a brother living in New York and being passionate about New York, as my wife and I are, I really connected to that, and I wanted to write a book that, like you just said, it makes a difference, that changes your mindset and makes you rethink some things. And so what inspired you to write your book? What was behind that?
I mean, the impetus was, again, I had the opportunity, I got invited to go speak at this LinkedIn seminars, conference, something or other, whatever, and again, got invited, door opened up, I said yes. As much as like, I was like, well, I don't know, what am I gonna say?
Right.
And I got up there and I just started talking about what it took to be successful as an actor, and how, and I do some real estate, and what are the similarities between going up in all these auditions,
Okay.
and then as a real estate investor, looking for homes, working with clients,
Right.
and what are the similarities? And this woman came up to me afterwards and said, hey, you have a really interesting story. I'm a publisher, Melissa,
Yeah.
and she said, have you ever thought about writing a book? And the idea,
No.
like I was like, maybe when I'm like 80 and I'm kind
Yeah.
of looking back at my life and but I was like, I don't know how to write a book. How do you that probably is like impossible. And then again, here it is. We have these preconceived notions of what something is going to be like, and we get the idea, well, who am I to think that I could do that? And the more that you can just
That's my
talk to
story.
someone who has done it, and she started to break down the steps and the outline, and this is what we could do, and this, I was like, maybe we could, actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, so let's do this. And it ended up taking about eight months,
Yep.
I want to say.
Yep.
And it takes something because you've got to just put it in your calendar, okay, for this
It's
block
grueling.
of time.
Right.
I am not moving. I'm sitting here
Yep.
and I'm going to get, but once you do that,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if you found this, but there are certain moments where you find yourself in a flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of, the words just come out and it
Yes.
flows and
Yes.
you're like, wow, this is inspiring. And writing about 9/11 helped me work through some of the unhealed trauma that I
Yeah.
guess I experienced from it.
Sure.
And then also I talk about as a cancer survivor,
Yes.
after 9/11 I went out to LA, was pounding the pavement, auditioning, and finally after 3 years of being out there, booked a role on All My Children, soap opera,
Mm-hmm.
playing the transplanted fetus of Erica King. And so I ended up moving back to New York in 2005, and I was excited to go back because I'd always loved New York City.
Yeah.
I loved the
Yeah, sure.
vibrancy, loved the diversity there, and at this point, I was able to go back and go down to the World Trade Center and just kind of do my healing down there
Yeah.
and come to terms with everything. And I was just so grateful to have my first contract acting job after studying acting for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did it. I
Mhm.
did it. This
Right.
is amazing. And 6 months into my 3-year contract, I got diagnosed with testicular cancer. And I was like, okay, God, universe, what are you,
Yeah.
was it not enough? Like, what are you
Right.
testing me here? What's going? And so I had surgery, radiation treatment, and it was a scary experience. But when I talked about pulling down those walls and being vulnerable, what acting has taught me was that my 3rd week of radiation treatment, at this point, I had not told anyone at
Right.
All My Children
Yeah, as your book said.
that I had cancer and that I was going through this experience because
Right.
I don't know, it's one of these things where it's guy stuff, it's
Right.
private,
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as the guy that has the, and I was on set and I was just sweaty and green and just like, I did not feel well because I had to go do my radiation treatment and then I went to work. And you just feel like you have the flu and you feel like sick and nauseous. And I'm trying to act all like macho on set and be like, Donna, I saw you with Rick, and I'm in.
Oh God, I don't know what I'm in right now. Oh
Right,
man.
yeah, uh-huh.
Oh man.
And the director came up to me. He was like, "Are you all right?" And at that point,
Yeah.
I literally
Broke down.
broke down.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I can't do this. And I'm ashamed to say that I can't do this. But he's like, well, what's wrong? I said, I had surgery a few weeks ago, and I'm going through this radiation treatment right now. And he's like, you idiot! Why didn't you tell? I mean, he didn't say idiot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he was
But
like,
yeah.
why didn't you tell us?
Right. Right.
And I think we fear what people are going to think of us, or we don't want
Or
to.
what's gonna happen?
We don't want to be a burden. Or
Yeah.
am I going to get
Yeah.
fired? Or
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
and man, everyone at All My Children just showed up, and they were like, "What do you need? Do you need
That's
some time
awesome.
off?" And actually, it's the world of acting is similar to other industries where I was the new guy, so
Yeah.
some of the established guys that were there were like, "Who are you?"
Of course, right?
What? All right, whatever. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, nice to meet you, dude. So it's like there's that like kind of feeling each other out,
For sure.
macho jockeying, whatever. You're like, oh, so your storyline is with who? Oh, yeah, I had that storyline with her 2 years ago. So after I
Oh, man.
shared like, my experience,
Yeah.
those same guys were like, you right, man? Like,
Right.
if you need anything,
Right.
and I actually asked one of the guys who I was actually a little intimidated by, and he was a little older, and he wasn't always the nicest to me, but he had just kind of an older, just more like an older brother kind of
Yeah.
Mhm.
feeling. And I asked him to go to Sloan Kettering Hospital with me for some of my checkups, and he was like, absolutely, man, whatever you need.
Nice.
And we became really good friends through this experience. And it's when you show that you're vulnerable, and that he probably thought I was Mr. Cool guy,
Macho guy, yeah.
But when you just are real with
Vulnerability.
someone and say, man, you know what? This scares the shit out of me. What about
Right.
you?
Right.
And then I started going to these like big Oscar parties and Emmy parties later on, and I'd be sitting at the bar, and there, like Topher Grace, who was on that '70s show, like
Yeah.
something like that. I was like, I'm standing next to him, and I'm just like, these parties are weird, right? Like you don't know who to talk to. He's
Right.
like, oh my God, you too? And I'm like, yeah. And so the more that you can just like
Yeah.
be real and be like, this is kind of crazy, or this is scary, or this
Yeah.
is amazing.
Vulnerability's big.
Like people can connect with that. But when you are like, how are you? Oh, great, the kids are great. We're going
Life is wonderful.
to Geneva this weekend, and Bobby just started freshman year of college, and everything's great. We, everything's great. Oh, okay, great. And then you leave, and you're like, what? I don't really know that person,
Right.
And so the relatability and the authenticity.
But you don't come out of the gate with I have testicular cancer.
Right.
I mean, you don't
Yeah.
start there. I mean, right? That's
Right.
that's not your hello.
Right, and it's not
But I
just
get
something.
vulnerability is big.
Yeah.
And I think that transitions into, realism. Right?
Yep.
I mean, you develop a level of realism, because I've always said that about like guy groups. There's nothing more powerful than guy groups together when you think you're carrying the weight of the world, and then you hear the story on that side of the table,
Yeah.
and now you're all in. You're like, what can I do? And now you're right, you have a bond for life. Because guys getting vulnerable is not normal.
No.
Guys crying, not normal.
Right.
You see that and you kind of break down yourself going, wow, that's cool. And
Yeah.
now they're more approachable
Yeah.
to you. They don't become as scary or
Yeah,
intimidating.
They're
and then you
humans.
don't feel alone.
Right.
You're like, man, like you
relate.
experience that? You're afraid, or your
Yes.
girlfriend or your wife is doing this, and like,
Yes.
me too. Like, man, I thought I was the only guy that was experiencing
Yeah.
this, and like, no, like this is frustrating, and so
Yeah.
power of community is amazing.
No doubt. So your book was it really goes through and evolves through several different times in your life.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, it's all encompassing about a good story of really you. And I mean, I enjoyed reading it, but writing it, did you, your inspiration to writing it was ultimately what?
How can I share my experiences to make other people's lives better?
So great.
How can I help anyone else who's going through cancer get through that experience? And the way in which I got through it was a lot of the stuff that I learned as an actor with regards to when you go into an audition, you have to create your character.
Yep.
You have to know what your objective is.
Yep.
You have to know what the story is, and it is all made up, right? Someone wrote those words on a piece of paper.
So,
And the more that I started creating these characters and going into these auditions, the more I started to realize, what character am I playing in my own real life? Because we all have created a character that we play in our own life.
great.
And someone may be like, well, who are you? Well, I'm calling from the south side of Chicago. I'm Irish because my mom is from Ireland, and that's who
Is
I
she really?
am. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But it's all, you identify with where your parents are from, what religion you are, what school you went to,
Mm-hmm.
but it's made up.
Yep.
And so and what can happen is it can keep us stuck in the identity of, well, I come from this neighborhood, so how could I ever expect to, compete with the Mount Carmels and the whatever?
Yeah.
How could I ever expect to date someone like that?
Yeah.
Because I came from this neighborhood, and those those limiting beliefs
100%.
that we start to live into
Oh, yeah.
is what keeps us stuck. And as an actor, what was amazing is playing all these characters, I started to realize, well, maybe I could take on the characteristic of Russell Crowe in Gladiator, so that when I go into these hospital appointments,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not timid, afraid Colin. I'm Maximus.
Right.
So when I walk in
Right.
there, I'm like,
Game
are you not entertained? So I was like, putting it on, and then I was like, okay, if I go on this date with this beautiful woman who I would be intimidated with normally, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be George Clooney during this day. And so you start to identify that a lot of who we are is made up.
Yeah.
And so the question is, well, then who are you? And what I've discovered is who you are. And if you talk to I've done a lot of work with like Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra and life coaches, and I've been a student of personal development and life coaching and all that sort of thing. And from all of this coaching and all of this research that I've done, who we are is who we decide to be. It literally just comes down to as simple as that. Who do you want to be? So like when I was diagnosed with cancer, it was, well, it's not how am I going to react to all this?
Right.
It is who do I choose to be in the face of all of this?
Right.
And it's not, God, why is this happening to me? It's why is this happening for me? And who do I choose to be in the face of this? If you're in a loveless marriage, you can ask yourself, well, he doesn't love me, she doesn't love me, and she doesn't do this, and he doesn't. Or you can say, who do I choose to be in this relationship to make it the loving relationship and the amazing relationship that I want it to be?
Right.
How can you be responsible for where you are at in your life? Because the more that we place and put the power outside of ourselves and on other people, the more disempowered we become, the more the less action we are going to take in our lives, and the more of a victim mentality that you are going to look at life through, so that everything that comes out of your mouth is, oh, well, yeah, look at him, nice, yeah, it must be easy for you.
Right.
And it's like, no, it hasn't been freaking easy for me.
Right.
And it's not that I'm not afraid, but I choose to take action in the face of fear because my goal is this bigger, inspiring dream. And so that's what I talk about in my book. It's what is your hell yeah? It is that exciting thing that makes you want to get out of bed. You love being the
Title
guru,
That's
right?
what I do.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
And so, like, what do you love about it?
I get to be a detective.
Okay.
So yeah, it's I went to school to be a history teacher, and I get to dig into history behind everybody's properties and help them out. And I love doing it. Look at his face. Every time I talk about how much I love doing this, he thinks I'm a nerd, but it's really cool. It's a really, really cool
And
thing.
that's your hell yeah.
It
and
is.
that's
It is
something
a hell
that
yeah.
is like, that is something worth getting up and doing. It's fun for you. You know, you're providing a great service for people, for them to be able to not just buy a house, but you're providing the opportunity
to
for
make
them
sure you buy a house right.
to move into a home and have their dreams
Yes.
fulfilled. So like when I talk, because I do public speaking and I do some communications consulting, like when I talk to other real estate agents, when they're like, oh my God, everything's moving to social media and I don't know how to do Instagram and Facebook Lives and that sort of thing. And again, what I talk about is it's not about you. It's when you push that little red button to record or go live, who are you talking to?
Right.
And
You do those talks in the morning.
And
once in a while. Yeah.
And
I catch
what do you want to give as a gift to the people who are watching you?
Right.
Because they're giving you their time. What are you going to give them?
Right.
It's not about you. And so I say to real estate agents, you're not trying to sell a house. You're trying to make dreams come true by providing an amazing home for a family.
Yeah.
So you're not a real estate agent. You are a dream
A
maker.
dream maker.
Right.
You are.
And that's, if you connect to that bigger, higher vision of what it is that you are doing in life, that helps you overcome the fear and the challenges that stand in the way.
It does. And that's, these are, I mean, I hope that, I mean, there's a lot here, and there's been a lot of really great conversations said, and some of the candor that we all share, and this is what we talk about as a company, is aligning ourselves with people of the like that we are. And Colin is exactly in line with what we do and why we do it, and our passion for doing this. So, you know, his book, it's a great book. I certainly, I highly recommend it. It's called The Agile Artist. Pick it up on Amazon. It is really a great read. He is.
And for right now, it's only 99 cents at the Kindle store. So
Well.
the electronic version, it's a special, limited time only, 99 cents.
$1, Mortimer.
Amazon Kindle version.
There you go.
Nice.
So go get it, and mine's out there too if you want to read that as well. But until next week, we are Inspired Title. I am Drew.
And my name is Amy.
This is Colin.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Well, there you have it. That is it for this week's edition of Title Talk. Be sure to head over to our Inspired YouTube page and subscribe and like. And make sure you follow the team on Instagram and Facebook. Join us again next time for more tips and knowledge from the industry pros. Thanks again for listening.